It's time for my yearly donut recipe, and if you are a pumpkin lover, then this one is for you. Just like all my other donut recipes, this one is also made with creamy ricotta cheese. They are dangerously addictive, yet so easy to make. A fun family treat to make with the kids. Let me show you guys how. Okay, I always say I don't do sweets, but it's because of things like these donuts that once I pop, I just cannot stop. They are so addictive and so delicious. If you're not a pumpkin fan, or even if you are, and you haven't tried my other donut recipes like my ricotta donuts or my apple cider donuts, they are a must try and especially good this time of year. But don't go running to those recipes yet. Let's make these pumpkin donuts together so that you can make all 3 of them at home. My dry ingredients include 2 cups all-purpose flour, 2½ teaspoons of baking powder, 1/4 teaspoon of sea salt, and 1½ tablespoons of the Blackstone snickerdoodle seasoning. Now, if you don't have the Blackstone snickerdoodle seasoning, which I personally think is delicious and perfect because I help blend all of these spices and seasonings that I love this time of year together, then you could use to substitute some pumpkin pie spice and white sugar. Just do equal parts. Now, I personally don't add as much sugar as most pumpkin donuts call for because I like to finish mine off either rolled in the snickerdoodle seasoning, or I love making a sweet glaze to top these donuts with, which is what we are doing today. So I don't want them to be too overly sweet, but you can add as much sugar as you want to this recipe. Now, into a large mixing bowl, we need to mix our wet ingredients, and if you didn't already know, I film myself while I'm cooking, and so sometimes the struggle is real between juggling the camera and cooking, and sometimes, like today, I totally forgot to hit the record button when I dumped my pumpkin puree and my ricotta cheese. So like a fool, tried to get those wet ingredients back out separately, which didn't work so well, so that's why they look like they've already been mixed together, which is fine. I know you guys aren't judging me. Some of you are, though, constantly, which I appreciate. But into a large mixing bowl, we mix 1 cup of ricotta cheese, whole milk, and ½ cup of pure pumpkin puree, then 2 eggs and 1 teaspoon of vanilla. We mix this together until well combined, and then gradually add our dry ingredients to the mix, a little at a time until we get this sticky, thick batter. Once that's done, I move over to my griddle, which I've got set up for frying all of my donuts. I've got a sturdy pot of oil. Canola or vegetable oil is perfect for these donuts. We heat that to reach 350 degrees on one side, and on the opposite side, my burners are off, holding a baking rack or cooling rack for my donuts to drain off and sit as we work in batches. While my oil comes up to temperature, we've got to make our sweet glaze. I mixed ½ cup of powdered sugar, mainly because that's all I had left. So to that, I'll add 1 tablespoon of our snickerdoodle seasoning, 1 to 2 tablespoons of our pumpkin puree, and a splash of milk and vanilla. We mix this until smooth, and of course, adjust as you'd like if you want it to be thicker or thinner or sweeter even. Then set that aside, and it's time to make our donuts. Using 2 of our larger kitchen spoons, we dip them into our hot oil just to grease these so that our batter does not stick too much. Then into that batter for a scoop, using both spoons, going back and forth to form a ball, then gently dropping them into that hot oil. We keep this going, working in batches, making sure to not overcrowd our pot. Now, one thing I love about these donuts is that they do most of the work themselves. They roll over, turning from side to side to cook evenly. It's fun to watch, but if some need a little help, I love using chopsticks to help these turn and even to remove them from the hot oil. These only need between 4 to 6 minutes depending on the size. Now, my balls are a little on the larger side, so about 5 to 6 minutes for me. me. And as long as your oil is staying steady around 350, these should not take any longer than that. Once they are golden brown in color, we pull them out and allow them to drain on that rack until we've got all of these done. Now mine yielded 21 donuts since I did go on the larger side. These can also be made smaller though as well. Once they are done, it's fun to either roll them in the snickerdoodle seasoning or a little mixture of cinnamon and sugar, but today I'm going for that pumpkin glaze that we made. I love how crispy golden the outside of these are, and the inside is so warm and cakey like because of that ricotta cheese. These are most definitely something that cannot be left in front of me because I would eat them all. They're just so addictingly good, and that glaze just takes them over the top. Now I loved watching all of the griddle owners who made my ricotta donuts and my apple cider donuts in the past. I love resharing those pictures of your recreations at home, so I cannot wait to see who this year makes these pumpkin donuts or makes all three of them and enjoys them with your family at home, family style. Until next time, I'm Blackstone Betty, and I cannot wait to see you guys for another recipe next week.